How y'all doing? For this book review, it's going to be another paleontology book here. This one's written by Donald Prothero, The Paleobiology of Indricatheres, Rhinoceros Giants, by Indiana Press. Published, I think, in just a few years ago. I think it was 2014, I believe. 2013, sorry, for those of you who are interested. I know I don't do that for all books, but just the idea for paleontology, you want to try and keep as up to date as possible. So, what are Indricatheres? Well, some of you may be familiar with them. If you were watching with the Walking with Prehistoric Beasts by BBC. This is a sequel to Walking with Dinosaurs. This time they deal with the mammals after dinosaurs, and one of the episodes focuses on Indricatheres. In fact, there's one right there. So what are they? Well, they're relatives of the rhino is what they are. Take a rhinoceros, as you know it. Take away its horn, make it bigger to where to about 12 to 15 tons, 20 max, taller than an elephant. Pretty long neck too. Now, a lot of times when you see it depicted, you see it sort of like this. In fact, they show it similar to Walking with Dinosaurs, but they give more texturing of that of a rhino. Now, and of course, because it's related to the rhino, they gave it a more rhino-like face. But if you notice on the cover, or you notice the slideshow, it has something like this. Well, I'll explain that reason why. So, the book is very short, 120 pages. Very easy to read, but Prothero has always been a good writer, so he knows how to talk to these intelligent lay people. So he's interested in that and not too good with the technical stuff. He gives out some technical stuff, but it's not too hard to grasp. And the chapter, the book follows from the history of when these were found. From the early 1900s to they were found around Mongolia, and throughout the years through various expeditions from as far east to Mongolia to all the way to Eastern Europe, they have found Indricatheres. So he starts off by talking about the excavations that discovered these animals and who these scientists were and how they contributed to science, and he also talks about the geology of where these animals were found. He also talks about the dating methods and where they found them out. These Indricatheres were found as early as the late Eocene and throughout the Miocene. And he even talks about, in order to talk about the Indricatheres, he has to tell about where they fit into the biology and into the system, into phylogeny of things. So he talks about rhinos, so there you have a chance to understand more about rhinos than you ever thought about. Most people only know about the animals today by the current examples. But no, there were relatives of rhino that were almost horse-like. They were runners and all that. And he talks about the Indricatheres and how they fit in and how we identify them as relatives of rhinos. Mainly through their teeth, like so. So this is the upper jaw, here are the lower jaw teeth. And he gives out many. He also gives out other examples on how these animals are related to each other. And then he starts getting into detail about the naming, because he also, throughout this he talks about Indricatheres, but he also talks about how the problems that they had, not just with geology and how they got that corrected, but even the harder part is, of all the specimens found, they've also given out many different names, and he talks about how scientists give name to animals and the problems of if it's just scientists splitting it or grouping them together. And he explains what the most likely current research shows of how many species there are of Indricatheres. And he mentions this because if you look throughout the literature, you'll find names that would pretty much be obsolete. They're no longer used. Like, the whole Patasaurus, Brontosaurus thing, and even that has technicalities from today, from a couple years ago. And then he talks about the Indricatheres themselves. you know, what their physiology is and how, you know, here you have shows like Walking with Beasts, and this is a very good program. However, a lot of people would see this and think that they've done their homework and all the major sciences, but a lot of that is speculation. He explains why, and but he can tell you what we, you know, what we do understand. Like, for instance, being a large animal, you need a lot of space, and since we know that from the geology of this area, these animals lived in very dry, arid environments, so there's not much plant life, so they need even more space. So, and then also it influences the population, and also talks about one of the things that if you're a large warm-blooded animal, one of the things you need to do is radiate off the excess heat. Hence, why it's not far-fetched for elephant-like ears protruding out of it, because elephants use their ears to radiate heat. Now, granted, they don't preserve fossil record, but it's, you know, and again, it's more speculation, but it's reasonable because you gotta get rid of that heat, you know, and what have you. And their nose is such where they may have upper proboscis like trunk, like tapirs, or what have you. You know, or, you know, earlier elephants, you know, many of them, which I would like to find a book just talking about nothing but the elephants, current research on that, similar to this. And there you would, you know, you have to have that snout that may be useful to that. He talks about, you know, all things he can, but hey, it's only 128 pages, very quick read, you know, for me and all that. Give it a shot if you are interested in something that's in paleontology but not necessarily dinosaurs, or not necessarily sycamore or not. Give this a go. Donald Prothero's Rhinoceros Giants, Paleobiology of Indricatheres. Thank you all for watching. You have a nice day.